Welcome to Confessions Beyond the Food. I'm your host, Nancy Redlin. Let's dig in and get inspired. Welcome to Confessions Beyond the Food. This isn't a highlight reel. This is where we talk about what it actually takes, the pressure, the doubt, and the moments that nobody sees. Because behind every plate, there's a story people don't tell. And today's story moves fast. At 18, Preston Nguyen walks into the World Food Championships, the biggest culinary stage in the world, surrounded by chefs who've been doing this longer than he's even been alive. He doesn't just show up, guys. He wins. Rookie of the Year. A year later, he's 19, standing in front of Gordon Ramsay on Next Level Chef. Cameras on, expectations high, and no room to hide. And from the outside, it looks like everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to. But early success doesn't make things easier. It just raises the stakes. Because now it's not just about proving what you can do and if you can do it, it's about figuring out who you are while everyone's watching. From catching his own fish mid-competition to outthinking seasoned chefs with something he picked up on TikTok, to navigating pressure most people don't face until much later, if ever. Preston's story isn't just about talent. It's about instinct, adaptability, and learning in real time. So today, we're just not talking about the wins. We're talking about what it costs to get there and what comes next. So let's dig in. Hi, welcome back to Confessions Beyond the Food. I'm really excited. We have a celebrity in the studio. I've got Preston Nguyen. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're so excited to have you. So let's take it back from the very beginning. So can you rewind and tell us, did you grow up wanting to be in food, or did you find cooking later in life?
Honestly, growing up, I really was surrounded by food. My family really immersed me in that culture because we've actually owned a few restaurants. My first job in life was being a busboy and dishwasher at my mom's restaurant. And anytime our family came over, we'd help cook various things. I was always in charge of the side dishes. But I never really considered it to be my career until much later in life. Originally, I wanted to be an architect. So I was going to go to school. I had all this plan where I'd be an engineer or an architect, go to school, finish the degree. But when I actually started going into that field, I was like, maybe this isn't for me. I don't like desk jobs.
You know, the past, I would say I've had 3 chefs, professional chefs, that started out in engineering. I think that's really fascinating, and that you've pivoted to the culinary side. That's cool. So, since you weren't really thinking about food, what did you think your life was going to look like back then?
I thought it was going to be pretty straightforward, nothing too exciting. Engineer, you go to college, you do your 6 to however many years you're going to do. You go maybe to Lockheed, or you go do your internships and whatever you'd like to do. And so that was the path I was going to do. But again, I found out really early on in life that was not exactly what I wanted to do, and tried out cooking, and I loved it.
That's awesome. So was there a moment where cooking stopped being a hobby and started feeling like your path?
It was actually right during COVID. I was given the opportunity to switch my focus at high school from architecture to the culinary space. One of my classes is I could go to a restaurant and work a few hours for a shift, and that would be considered my class period. Absolutely fell in love with it. I had an awesome mentor, Aziz, who's the owner of Prince Lebanese Grill. He was the one that really showed me what hospitality is and what it really means to not only just work in a kitchen, but provide the hospitality that your guests need.
That's really cool. So did anyone push back when you started taking food seriously, like your mom or your dad? Were they like, don't get into this industry?
Well, with both of my parents being in the food industry, they've owned restaurants, and they've really seen the nitty gritty of it. They definitely warned me at the beginning. They're like, hey, this is not an easy industry. You're going to lose out on holidays. You're going to miss your family. You're going to miss out on a lot of stuff, especially in your early adult life. So they did give me that warning. But my parents were super supportive. My dad actually offered to help me kind of do like a dual I guess, career where I would do my culinary side, but I'd also get a real estate license and do that on the side. So my dad was still looking out for me all the way up until we got into the food competition. Once we got into that, we completely changed direction. No more real estate, none of that. Fully focused on the food industry.
That's really cool that you guys got to do it together. I mean, absolutely, that they're part of the story. And so I just want to point out really quickly, y'all, he was still in high school. You were still in high school in 2020, right?
Yes.
Were you a junior or senior at that point?
2020, I was a junior. So right when COVID hit, it was the end of my junior year. And ironically, what I call the death of my high school life was also the death of my architecture career, because that's when it kind of all changed. And going through COVID, going into my senior year, that's when I discovered all the food and restaurant things.
Well, we're about to get into your whole story because it's pretty incredible. This guy has accomplished a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, it's really cool. So you're 18 and you're going to compete. You guys competed in the World Food Championships in Dallas. So that's, for those of you who may not know, that's the largest culinary competition in the world. What was it like walking into that room at that age?
Very intimidating right off the bat. I mean, originally we were interested in World Food Championships just as extra credit. Dallas College, which is the culinary school I was attending at the time, said, hey, if you want extra credit, go volunteer. You can be like a volunteer that helps clean, for instance. And that's what we were going to do. But it actually, very last second, a golden ticket opportunity presented itself. They're like, hey, because of COVID, some of the international teams can no longer compete. Would y'all like to try out for it? And so me and my dad, we signed up for it, and we needed a third. So originally, maybe I was thinking my boss over at Prince Albany's Grill, I was like, maybe he'll come into it. I was like, wait a minute. My mom is a really awesome pastry chef. Maybe I'm going to drag her into this. Definitely to protest. She did not want to get into the competition world. But we were super excited just to even be there. My dad had seen people on TV and was just excited to be able to meet people. So honestly, we weren't taking things too seriously. We were there to meet people, have fun, and just dip our toes into the culinary world.
So did you feel like you belonged in that room, or were you thinking, what am I doing?
Definitely felt like we stuck out. There was teams there with camera crews, professional setups, all of these things that you'd be like, wow, these people know what they're doing. And when we saw who we were going up against, we're going up against people who have been on Food Network, executive chefs at hotels, people who have been in this industry longer than I've been alive. I felt very much out of our league. Like we were just there as the last second charity event, give this kid a shot kind of thing. So we definitely felt different being there.
Wow, that's very serendipitous. I mean, the whole thing working out the way it did. So when you were named the Rookie of the Year, what did that moment actually feel like internally? Because that was the award you got, right?
Yes. Definitely kind of gave me a wake-up call that this is actually something that we can actually achieve. So on top of it being Rookie of the Year is when we won the opening round. And they said that it's the first time a rookie has ever won a category before. So it was very shocking to us. There's a video where my aunt had actually recorded me and my dad's reaction when they were about to announce first place. And we were actually about to walk away because we didn't make top 10. Like, it's okay. We gave it our best shot. Called our name and we're like, oh my gosh. Like I think I almost fell trying to run up on stage because I just wasn't ready for it. So it definitely shocked us. Gave us that wake-up call of, okay, we actually need to start taking this seriously because this can be life-changing. Did you have to give a speech or anything, or did you just get to accept the award? I was supposed to do a speech, and when they put the microphone in front of my face, I was so winded and shocked. I physically couldn't form words, and the actual host of the event was like, if I was you, I'd be speechless as well, and everybody had a good laugh about that. How fun. That's so fun that you're like just walking out and you're like, wait, that's my name. They're calling me. It took us a second to realize that they call our name. That's amazing. So did winning that young feel freeing, or did it suddenly add pressure? A lot of pressure. Because at first I was like, okay, I'm going to go to culinary school, get my degree, go work at a nice restaurant, slowly work my way up. This is like a 6-year plan that I had put in place for myself. But the moment we had won this competition, all of a sudden there was a time constraint because we had final table in 4 months from now. So now we got to start doing research. We got to see what's the local cuisine, what's the judges' taste going to be like, how does this competition work? Suddenly, what was going to be a 6-year plan was now condensed down into 4 months. We had to compete with executive level chefs, people that have literally been cooking triple the time that I've been on this planet. Like, these people are serious business. And this was a life-changing event. This is not you'll have a second chance to compete at this level again. When you're given your opportunity, you have to make it work.
Wow. So then we're going to talk a little bit about some of your competitions. So one of your competition wins required you to catch your own fish from a lake and then prepare it. Take us into that moment. What was going through your head? And my other question is, did you know how to fish?
Absolutely not. So they actually joked about this at the competition. They're like, hey, Preston, do you know how to fish? And I had never been fishing in that point for maybe about 13 years. And the reason being is when I was 8 years old, me and my brother were fishing, like the adults catch a fish, they put it in a bucket, the kids have their little play fish hooks or whatever. Well, my brother swung his hook around and he thought I got stuck in a tree. The tree just happened to be my neck. There was a fish hook in my neck and he was trying to yank it out thinking it was stuck in a tree. And so I'm over here getting a fish hook yanked out of my neck. My dad sees it happening and I vaguely remember my dad having to dig out a fish hook out of my neck at 8 years old. And since that moment, I was like, I'm never touching a fishing rod. I don't want to be anywhere close to it. As an 8-year-old, that's a pretty traumatizing experience. And so they're like, hey, do you know how to fish? I'm like, absolutely not. And they're like, well, you better learn because that's kind of the thing that you need to do in order to win. So.
That is traumatizing.
Absolutely.
I mean, wow. How full circle was that? I mean, how was it when you caught the fish?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, granted, I didn't enjoy having to be on a boat at 6 a.m. After competing in the round before that. But it was awesome being able to go on a lake. We had a fishing guide with us. Like, they weren't going to just send us out blind to go do it. First fish we caught was actually too small. So I was pretty sad that I had to put it back. And admittedly, I may or may not have dropped the fish by accident because I didn't know how to hold a live fish before. All the fish I've worked with have been dead. So first time holding a live fish, may have dropped it. But thankfully, the second fish we caught was just long enough to where we were able to keep it legally.
That's so fun. So what did that win teach you about trusting yourself under pressure?
Honestly, not only just trusting myself, but trusting my team and my people around me. These types of competitions are not a one-man show. It's definitely about the people you surround yourself with. And my parents have been people I've been cooking alongside my whole life. There's definitely moments of stress. During competition, something will always go wrong. And you need to trust the people around you that we can help each other. If you're falling behind, hey, I'm going to be honest, I'm falling behind. Are you able to help a little bit? And that was a lot happening. There was certain elements on our dishes all throughout the competition where I'm behind, I need help. And you need to be able to trust your own instinct to know how far behind you are and trust the people around you that they're going to be able to help you get out of that rut.
So another competition you were involved in, it involved recreating an extremely difficult dish, something that stumped the seasoned chefs, and you figured it out because you remembered how it was done from TikTok. So how did that moment feel? I mean, to bring TikTok into this?
It really feels like anytime somebody asks us, like, well, the new gens, let's get their perspective on things. Well, it was cool to actually see one of those moments in action. And so for this specific instance, I was actually consulting for one of my mentors who's a Michelin star chef. And I was there helping him out. It was one of his first times in America. So I was basically helping him navigate the competition world here in the States. And when they had presented us all of the ingredients, gelatin was one of those ingredients. And everybody's like, well, maybe it's in the sauce. And I was like, wait a minute. They said they were going to put a secret twist on it. I vaguely remember 2 years ago, there's this clip on TikTok where a chef mixes gelatin and his stock. And once he mixes it together, it turns into that gelatin, mixes it in with the meat. And that was the secret. sure enough, fast forward to the judging when they're like, what did you do to the gelatin? That exact process is what they ended up doing. And so that chef that we had consulted for was one of 2 people out of the 7 people that were there that actually got that right. So it was cool being able to apply the newer, more accessible techniques that are on like TikTok or Instagram or different social medias and actually apply it to a world class competition.
I'd love to see your TikTok feed and your Instagram feed. What comes up?
Definitely a lot of food. It's honestly a really great way to be inspired. Accounts like Granda, for instance, I love them. They really make Michelin-worthy techniques and dishes accessible for the people that are actually wanting to learn. So it's honestly a great way to be inspired. A lot of things to learn on there. And there's stuff that you would never think of in 1,000 years. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Let me try it. Let me put my own twist on it. So I love social media in that aspect.
That's awesome. So do you think being young actually helped you there because you're learning from everywhere, not just kitchens? I mean, it kind of ties in with what we were talking.
Absolutely. For many reasons, it's helped. For one, being able to use the technology and browse the different social media platforms to really look for cool ideas. I feel like just growing up, I've been around phones and all of that. So it's like, okay, let me check different resources in that aspect. But even from a life stage perspective, I mean, I'm not married. I don't have kids. Like, I'm very free to move around and go learn wherever I'd like to learn. So for the past 4 years, every year in the summer, I'd fly over to the UK or to Mexico. Like, I have the freedom to go to these restaurants that I've looked up to. And instead of going to school for these things, I can go straight to the chef that actually is doing what I want and learn it straight from him.
And you just go without fear.
Absolutely. You can't let that hold you back. You're going to fail a lot, but it's when you take those failures and you learn from them that it's honestly something that's good for you. Nobody's going to be perfect in this industry. Nobody knows everything. You're going to fail. Even Gordon Ramsay messes up every now and then. So it's nice to know that even though you are going to fail, it's not the end of the world.
Quick pause to thank W3 Sales for sponsoring this episode. If you're looking for inspiration in food service, from the details that shape the space to the products that elevate the experience, W3 Sales' new online catalog is built just for that. Explore and shop anytime at w3salesonline.com.
So speaking of Gordon Ramsay, that's a really good segue to the next part is, okay, so you're 19 and you are interfacing or you have engagement with Gordon Ramsay. So you're on Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay. How did that opportunity change your life, if at all?
Definitely slingshotted my social media presence. So Gordon Ramsay's casting team had reached out to me 2 weeks after we had won World Food Championship. So this was something fresh off our minds. We're like, wow, what is our next step? And when they reached out, we're like, we would love to. Like, Gordon Ramsay, it's freaking Gordon Ramsay. I mean, obviously you're going to say yes. And I had made it all the way through the casting and just getting on the show. It was a completely different experience from World Food Championships. You don't think about it much, but there's so many cameras, like there's so many angles that you're being captured from, and then you have to do interviews and all these things. It's a completely different world versus, okay, I know what I'm going to cook. I'm just going to make it. That's it. So it was awesome.
So what was more intense, competing or doing it on camera with world watching? Did you think about that? Like,
yeah,
everyone?
It was very nerve-wracking because in the competition world, people are watching you live, but there's not nearly as many cameras on you. Like, there's no instant replays. There's no people zooming in on every single thing you're doing. TV, every single small decision you make, every single word, every single facial expression, everything is under a microscope. And there's no takebacks. If you mess up, the whole world can see it.
Was there anything like watching it back that you're like, ooh, I wish I hadn't done that?
Yeah, so there was actually a lot of things I could look back on. One of them being my decision to not wear my glasses. I know, and you can probably see it here, my glasses have really bad reflections. And so I was told, is it possible to cook without your glasses so we can see you? First 5 episodes I tried that. Couldn't see anything. I couldn't see herbs or any of the nice garnishes. And literally, first episode, you see me grab the freaking canned meat, and everybody's like, why did you do that? I'm like, I couldn't see anything. But then when I made I put my glasses on. I was still making mistakes. I mean, there's so much pressure and you don't have time to think. But it was one of those experiences where I'm like, wow, like there's no do-overs. Like my decisions are going to stick with me through this.
I mean, you should have gotten big time extra points for that, for cooking blind.
It's like, well, I mean, the episode that I did put the glasses back on was one of the episodes that I wanted for my team. So it was definitely an awesome experience there.
That's amazing. So what was something about Gordon Ramsay people don't see on TV or his new reality TV show right now?
Gordon is extremely nice when the cameras aren't rolling. It's his TV personality. Obviously, he got famous for, like, Gordon Ramsay. He's yelling. He's, like, seeing all the chaos. There's fire, all this stuff. But second, the cameras aren't rolling. He's super comforting. And one of the main difficulties that I had going into the show is my grandmother had actually passed 2 days before filming had started. And it just so happened that the second episode was Mexico themed. And I was like, wow, this is a tough experience. I'm by myself in a different part of the world. I'm having to cook for the first time on TV. I'm in front of Gordon Ramsay. And when he had asked me, what's your inspiration behind this? And I said, my grandmother. But I'd also told him she had passed 2 days before filming. He had comforted me, like the cameras didn't capture all of it. Like he made sure I was okay if I needed anything. So he's awesome. He loves to teach. He loves to take care, especially of the younger generation. So Gordon's pretty awesome.
That is so sweet. I bet your grandmother just really was so proud of you. I mean, absolutely. In that moment, I mean, how divine was that? Like that moment, you know, that wasn't by accident. So that's so cool. So how did that show change how you see yourself as a chef?
While I was on the show and watching it back, I was like, wow, like there's a lot of things I would do differently. But at the same time, you just have to adapt along the way. But the way it changed me is taking Gordon's advice is to show restraint. There is such thing as too much. There is such thing as moving too fast. And so really taking an extra second to assess your situation. Am I doing too much? Is this a smart decision? That's the main takeaway I had, and it's stuck with me throughout my career. And even just from lessons aside, the show absolutely blew up my social media. I went from 1,000 followers to close to 100,000 followers now, just from the show alone. And so there's been both a personal growth and a social media growth from the show.
And that kind of carries a weight too, right? A responsibility to keep that up.
Absolutely. You got to strike while the iron's hot. And me being the youngest person on that show, I felt like I had a lot to prove. And so I wanted to keep that momentum going with everything I did.
That's incredible. So you were also in a competition on TV with your dad. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I was on Beat Bobby Flay with my dad. This is the first time where it was father versus son. And it was an awesome experience. My dad and I have been cooking alongside one another a lot. And honestly, when I was in culinary school for the short time I was with him, he was actually my classmate. So both of us went to college together and went through the culinary program. And already we were having these mini competitions throughout class. Like we would try to see, okay, who could cut faster, who could finish their dish faster, who got more points on their test. So we were kind of familiar already with sizing each other up, like getting a little competitive. And so when that opportunity presented itself, we were like, yeah, we're going to do it. Like father versus son. I mean, we love each other, but we're also going to show the world who's better.
Who won?
I ended up beating my dad. And the coolest thing that actually happened on the show is I may or may not have mouthed off to Bobby Flay a little bit, talking trash, like trying to rile him up. And Bobby decided, you know what, I think I can defeat both of y'all at the same time. So they had actually brought my dad back out. This was not planned at all. They actually cut the cameras and they're like, hey, Bobby, you're not allowed to do that. And he's like, yeah, I can. This is my show. I can do whatever I want. So I was like, all right, I like your energy, Bobby. So they brought my dad back out. He wasn't ready at all. Like he's like, oh, why am I being brought out? And they're okay, it's going to be a 2 versus 1, father and son versus Bobby. And that was honestly a really awesome core memory. I can say, I'm like, I got to compete on national TV with my dad, had my mom in the crowd rooting both of us on. So it was a really cool core experience that we were able to make with one another.
It's so sweet and special that you have these memories with your family, and just to see how close you guys are and how much they've influenced, your career. It's
Absolutely.
really, really cool. So, what was the hardest moment in your career that nobody saw on TV?
I would say the hardest part about my career so far has been being put in an environment with all of these very knowledgeable chefs when I myself do not know as much as they do. I only know what I know, and I don't know what I don't. There's so much out there in the culinary space that as somebody at my age, I'm not going to know it all. And being put in a position where I'm an executive chef, or I'm a food and beverage director, or I'm running ghost kitchens, my staff, there's a good chance they're going to know more than I do. So it's definitely hard being put in that leadership position while also needing to be able to take a step back, listen to the people that are more knowledgeable, but at the same time, respect that maturity and respect that the staff are going to give you as well.
That's awesome. All right, Preston. So I really appreciate you kind of giving us the background of where you've been. And there is going to be a part 2, guys. Don't worry, because there's a lot more to the story. We didn't have time to cover everything. So we're going to have a part 2. So don't miss that. But before you go, we have to get a confession. You've confessed already a lot, but...
Well, one of my favorite icebreakers that I love to just freak people out with is I'm like, hey, did you know Gordon Ramsay stuck his hand down my shirt twice in a day? And I just leave it at that. I don't tell them why. And just seeing the people's reactions always makes me laugh. But I guess with this being a confession, I can tell you why he was doing it. When production starts and it's time to cook and all that stuff, none of the behind the scenes people are allowed to go out. So it's only the chefs and the mentors allowed out there. Well, on the second episode, I was having problems with my mic. For whatever reason, the battery pack just kept flying on the floor. And when I was running around, literally the battery pack was just trailing behind me, hitting the floor. And I was like, Chef, I don't know how to fix this. Like, I've never worn one of these. I don't know how to fix it. So literally, Chef Ramsay grabbed the battery pack off the floor and just shoved it down my shirt. Fell out the bottom. He's like, crap, grabbed it again and tucked it in. He's like, right, young man, back to work. And I was like, yes, chef. I was like, all right, that's how it's done. He was straight to the point, did not care about anything else other than just getting me back in the action, which I was grateful for because that battery pack was killing me.
Well, that's great. I mean, that is a really crazy icebreaker. And so you just leave it there and just Absolutely. Walk away.
Yep. It's one of my favorite things to do, but I guess now people will know why that happens.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on today and just kind of sharing about yourself and what led you to today. And but again, you got to catch the rest on part 2. But thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. We'll see y'all soon. For more inspiration, follow our social media at W3 Sales. Please like, comment, and subscribe. All the things. We would love to connect with you.